Right.
Some out of control mayhem you've seen in movies like Crimson Tide, The Rock, and Pearl Harbor all can be created using large-scale physical as well as mechanical effects that actually is in film as a carefully planned sequence of events. Now you're in luck because right now we're shooting our very own action sequence entitled Harbor Attack. We'll be using many of the same effects directors like Michael Bay using their films. In fact,
This scene of Provo is on a surveillance mission, searching the skies for enemy aircraft who is caught off guard when real danger surfaces from beneath the sea. It's going to require a full range of physical effects, split-second timing, and careful direction. We have the lights, we have the cameras, all we need now is the action.
and if anyone knows serious action, it's certainly Michael Bay. Some of the effects we'll be using today include water cannons. We're pressurized up to 100 pounds per square inch. We have bullet hits that have to be programmed in time to match the continuity of the visuals and eventually the patterns of our sound effects. Now the most important effect in a scene like this is fire, and it has to be ignited at the precise moment. Because it takes a lot of effort and time to reset those charges. The number one consideration in all our effects are always the safety of our actors, and that's where you come in. Everyone meet Chad. Say hello, Chad. Ken. Say hello, Ken. Made a mistake there. Ken, you've been cast as a mechanic in our scene, and your scene is going to take place down there in the engine room of our PT boat. So if you'll just follow Brad and he'll get you set up into place. Now today we will be shooting two scenes, but not in the order they appear in the script. Most films nowadays are shot out of sequence, meaning that the actors may have to react to a scene that has not yet been filmed. This can be proved to be a real challenge. It's up to the director to give motivation for the scene. All right, Ken, you ready? Here's the setup. Right after that phone rings, 800 gallons of water will be dumping out of those tanks, flying down that chute and slamming into you like a freight train. Now, are you feeling motivated to hold on? You're good. I hope you stay good because it's 1,000 gallons of water, but there's a fine line between motivation and fear. Roll playback, remember, you just lost your engines and action. Go ahead and pick up that phone. Pick up the phone, Ken. Pick up the phone. Start talking to your captain. I see why those engines aren't working, and you're going to take on a little bit of water. And cut. Let's give it up for Ken.
That feels good.
Now, Ken, that's why we call it a physical effect. And you're so great, I'm going to cast you in one more role, and that's just to sit there in that chair, stare dramatically out into that audience, and do your best to act dry. Well, I don't think you're going to be able to do that. In the meantime, we're going to take a shot. We're going to into our next scene, and you'll see how it comes together in the final sequence. Our next scene takes place on the PT boat. Let's meet the rest of our brave crew.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you all to our brave Captain Nicole and her wild and wacky deckhand OJ. Let's give them a big round of applause. All right, Captain Secretary, please stand by.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Roll playback. Remember, crew, you're on surveillance mission and action. Go ahead, Captain, scan those guys, find those enemy fighters. Crew, you're doing a great job, but I want to see that boat spotless. Captain, beware, enemy fighters sending in fast. Crew, you're shot. You're stunned. You don't know what to do, Captain. It's up to you to get that PT boat out of there. That plane is turning around, and it's coming back for another run. Get that boat out of there. It's too late, Captain. You just lost your engine to your phone. Body again. Crew, you notice something on the right-hand side of the ship. It's very important that you get your captain's attention and let them know what you see. Looks like enemy torpedoes heading right towards you. Now you think it's all over, you start to relax, but you can't because you hear more planes. It's a little more serious time. These are enemy bombers coming in fast at 12 o'clock. Point to the skies, bombs away, everyone hit the deck. Great job, you spotted that aerial attack. Now 2 more torpedoes just got shot at your boat. Now luckily for you, they are passed right underneath the boat. But for everyone in the front row, they're heading right towards them. Point to the audience, tell them, look out. And cut, give it up for our crew. Now we're going to take both of those scenes, add some computer-generated images, a few lines of pre-recorded dialogue, and an exciting musical score. So we're going to just focus your attention to those overhead monitors as we proudly present Harbor Attack. you turn to your left, continue down the ramp through the front warehouse so that shuttle's going to take them and say happy tour.
Someone brought a camera into a movie theater.
There's a dragon. That's cute.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello, Doc. This is your shuttle approaching from the left, so make sure you stay back behind the lines. We just want to shuttle quickly and safely. Once again, please stay behind the lines. We just want to shuttle quickly and safely. Thank you.
There you go. Hello. They should do like a haunted walk through this. This would be pretty crazy. Look at all the people. Hi, there it is. Hey, that TV we should show today. It's called Best Buy. Oh, look, it's right there. They must have used a lot of TVs for one of these movies. Give me one of them.
We included sound stages, recording studios, high-tech editing rooms, all the tools needed to create movies, TV shows, and radio broadcasts. We've even got our very own water tower, too. It's up ahead on the left side of our shuttle. We call it the Earful Tower. It's inspired by the water tower Walt Disney had built for his Burbank studio in 1939. Our Florida tower stands a lucky 13 stories high, and we added our own creative touch, a giant set of Mickey Mouse ears. If you wanted to wear those ears, you'd have to have a hat size of 342 3/8. Up ahead, after the next bend in the road, you'll have a perfect opportunity to take a picture of this famous icon. In the world of entertainment, every project starts with a screenplay and a lot of creative ideas. A production studio is where the ideas of writers, producers are soundproof, weatherproof, and most importantly, air-conditioned. All vitally important for the cast, crew, and equipment. Many of the crafts needed for filmmaking are located right here on the lot. On the left, we have our own greens department. It grows flowers, trees, shrubs, and topiaries. A few well-placed plants can cover up empty spots in the set and add a touch of natural beauty to a scene. On the right are two of the aircraft from the 2001 blockbuster hit Pearl Harbor. These exact full-scale replicas of P-40 fighters were used in the special effect fight sequences. Of course, many of the planes you saw flying through the aerial battles or sitting on the ground weren't real at all. They were created entirely within a computer. Oh, keep your cameras focused to the right. We're coming up on that perfect angle of the Earful Tower I told you about. It's a true masterpiece. In costuming, every star has to have just the right wardrobe, and it all begins here with a designer's sketch. Our team of designers, seamstresses, and tailors can turn 1.5 million yards of fabric into over 25,000 costumes every year. Many of these costumes will become part of the shows and attractions of the Walt Disney World Resort. In fact, here in Florida, we have the largest working wardrobe department in the world. Why Mickey Mouse alone has over 175 different outfits to choose from, while Minnie Mouse keeps more than 200 unique costumes in her wardrobe. Engineers has created caves and caverns, game show sets, even replicas of the U.S. Supreme Court and NASA's Mission Control, all on our soundstage. The shop also provides sets and props for our shows and parades here at Walt Disney World. The same skill and craftsmanship that goes into a movie set can also be used to create magic for our parks. Either way, it's all about making dreams come true.
Okay. Yeah. We should probably get you that number. We only got like 700 pictures left. All right.
It's an outdoor storage area for oversized props and vehicles. Cars, trucks, boats, planes, we often save these props in case we need them for future productions. In this Backlot collection, you may find real working vehicles, non-working mock-ups, and even large-scale miniatures used in special effects shots. Large-scale models create a more convincing illusion on camera. We even place small cutout passengers in the windows of the plane.
swing by the sets for our Lights, Motors, Action Extreme Stunt Show. On the left, you may catch a glimpse of the Mediterranean fishing village that sets the stage for this thrilling attraction. We'll get a closer look at it soon, but for now, we're approaching one of the largest standing sets on our back lot. It's over on the right. It may not look like much from this angle, but it's pretty spectacular on the other side. This is great, folks. The production crew has just given us clearance to enter the set.
Hello, Backlot Tour. I'm Amy, a production coordinator here at the studios. I can see your shuttle heading toward our canyon set. I've given your driver permission to come in and take a look around. I'm up here with our events crew, and we're getting ready to shoot a test sequence. Oh, on the way in, you're going to be crossing a wooden bridge, and things may get a little bumpy, so please, hold on to your belongings, especially hats, cameras, and glasses, and keep an eye on any small children in your party. And of course, please remain seated at all times. Welcome to the set. As you can see, we brought the bare, dry deserts of Southern California to green, typically humid Central Florida. This set is based on real locations that our production designer took pictures of. Our set crew spent about 6 months building the canyon, but we've used it for a number of TV shows and specials over the years. For our upcoming production, the script called for a tanker truck. We found this one in our boneyard, but it was too big to drive into place. So we picked it up with a crane and set it down here. We're up on the overhead platforms, and I see our director has arrived. As soon as the rain effect is ready, we'll begin the sequence. This sudden shower is really just a special effect. We've rigged up a series of water nozzles just above your tram. The water sprays in a crisscross pattern to create a sense of depth, but this storm only covers the first few feet of the set. Okay, it's showtime. Everybody stay seated. Hang on to your belongings and watch your children. By now, you've probably figured out why we call it the Catastrophe Canyon. Now, let's go behind the scenes and find out how this spectacular sequence was created. The canyon itself is a facade, a steel structure covered with wire mesh and layers of concrete, sculpted and painted to look like natural rock formations. Narrow yellow pipes carry propane gas, fueling explosions and fire effects. For the flash flood, we used 100% real water, about 70,000 gallons of it, dumped from overhead tanks. Oh, but don't worry, we recycle. All of that water will be pumped right back up to the top for the next take. We shoot some of the water through air cannons for an extra dynamic effect. Those air cannons are powerful enough to shoot a basketball over the top of a skyscraper the size of the Empire State Building. To top it off, our shuttle was sitting on hydraulic shaker tables. They provide the shaking, rattling, and rolling sensations for the scene. The entire sequence can be reset in 3.5 minutes.
On the right, we have an authentic piece of Disney history. That Gulfstream 1 was known at airports across the country as November 234 Mickey Mouse, but we just call it the Mouse. In 1964, Walt Disney and his hand-picked team used this plane to scout locations for what he called the Florida Project. Soon, they secretly began purchasing thousands of acres of land, which became the Walt Disney World Resort in 1971. During the creation of the resort and later Epcot, the Mouse shuttled studio executives and Imagineers between Burbank and Orlando, making it the most used executive aircraft in the country. Appropriately, the Mouse retired here in 1992. As Walt used to say, it was all started by a mouse. In this case, the 234 Mickey Mouse. On our right, we once again sweep past the magnificent Mediterranean Village of our lights, motors, action extreme stunt show. This high-octane attraction is based on the hit show from the Walt Disney Studios Park in France. In this action-packed production, you'll feel like you're right there on the set during the filming of a spy thriller, complete with custom-built cars, motorcycles, even jet skis. You'll experience the split-second timing, coordinated driving, and fiery special effects that make action movies a real blast. The staging area to our right is known as Acceleration Alley. Here, the custom-built stunt show vehicles rev their engines up to 70 miles an hour, custom parts, and given a whole new color scheme. You might not even recognize them the next time you see them on screen. For instance, coming up is our friend Herbie the Love Bug. He went through a special demolition derby makeover. Those dents and dings were added on purpose, but he can be polished up as good as new for his next starring role. We now have a very different view of the fishing village set. From this point of view, you can see that there is no inside of the buildings. They are just false fronts or facades. In the movie business, set builders only create what the camera has to see. It's an old movie trick dating all the way back to the silent era. To add to the sense of realism and avoid the cost of set building, many of today's television shows and movies film on location in cities and towns across the U.S. But out in the real world, you've got to contend with noise, traffic, crowds, and various visual elements that may or may not belong in your film. Here on the Backlot, we can avoid these problems because we created our very own flexible urban environment. Our Streets of America facades can stand in for a small town or a giant metropolis. As we come around the last corner on our route, you'll see the skyline of New York City in the distance. It's really a series of painted flats, expertly designed to fool the eye and the camera. We can dress and decorate these streets to look like any city we want, from Chicago to San Francisco. Depending on the choice of vehicles, props, and costumes, we can even turn back the clock and set our story in a different time. And what's more, these sets are built with Florida weather in mind. They're made to withstand 100-mile-an-hour winds. You're welcome to visit our Streets of America anytime during your visit today and get an up-close look at the skills of our set designers and builders. Reached the end of our tour. Our final stop is the American Film Institute Showcase, where you can see the actual costumes and movie props used in some of Hollywood's most famous films. There are some pretty amazing items in there, so feel free to take